What if I told you that one 1950s sitcom didn't just make people laugh, it invented modern television? Welcome to Media Time Machine, where we bring entertainment nostalgia back to life. I'm Jason Starr, and I've worked in the media industry for over a decade, and I've also been studying media history since 2010. In this video, we're diving into the story of how I Love Lucy changed television forever and how Lucille Ball became one of the most iconic and powerful women in Hollywood. In 1951, television was still finding its identity. Most programs were filmed live in New York City, broadcast in black and white, and rarely preserved for future viewing. Then came I Love Lucy, the birth of a television legend. Lucille Ball was already a well-known radio actress starring in My Favorite Husband. When CBS approached her to adapt it for television, she agreed, but only on one condition. Her real-life husband, Desi Arnaz, would play her on-screen husband too. At the time, that was unheard of. Hollywood executives doubted that audiences would accept a white woman married to a Cuban-American man on TV, but Ball refused to back down. Her insistence wasn't just about love, it was about representation. CBS eventually agreed, and on October 15, 1951, I Love Lucy premiered to over 11 million viewers, instantly becoming the most watched show on television. But while Lucy's charm pulled audiences in, it was what happened behind the scenes that truly changed the game. Reinventing how television was made. At the time, most TV shows were broadcast live from New York and shot with low-quality kinescope cameras, making reruns or nationwide syndication nearly impossible. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz had a different vision. They wanted to film I Love Lucy in Hollywood in front of a live audience using three 35mm film cameras, the same format used in movies. To do it, they hired cinematographer Karl Freund, who had worked on Metropolis and Dracula, to design a new 3-camera setup that captured multiple angles at once. This system allowed editors to switch between wide shots, close-ups, and reaction shots seamlessly, creating the rhythm and energy that modern sitcoms still use today. But filming on film wasn't cheap, so Desi and Lucy offered to take a pay cut in exchange for ownership rights to the footage. That single decision made history and made them millionaires, because owning those filmed episodes meant they could do something no other show had ever done before: reruns. The birth of the rerun. In 1952, when Lucille Ball became pregnant with her first child, I Love Lucy took a short production break. Instead of airing live filler episodes like other shows, CBS re-aired previous episodes. To everyone's surprise, the reruns were a hit. Audiences didn't mind watching repeats, in fact, they loved them. That moment marked the birth of the rerun, and it changed television economics forever. Suddenly, TV shows weren't just one-time broadcasts, they were evergreen assets that could be aired, sold, and rewatched indefinitely. Today, that same business model drives everything from The Office on Peacock to Friends on Netflix, and it all started with I Love Lucy. But reruns were only one part of how Lucy and Desi reshaped the industry. Their next move would build an empire. The power couple who built a studio. In 1950, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz formed their own production company, Desilu Productions. At first, it was just meant to produce I Love Lucy, but after the show's success, Desilu expanded, producing The Untouchables, Mission Impossible, and later acquiring Star Trek. By the mid-1960s, Lucille Ball became the first woman in history to run a major Hollywood studio. Under her leadership, Desilu became one of the most influential production companies in the world, pioneering color TV, multi-camera sitcoms, and serialized storytelling. Desilu proved that television could be artistically ambitious and commercially powerful. But Lucy's impact wasn't just business, it was also cultural. And she broke barriers in more ways than one, breaking barriers and defining representation. Lucille Ball was more than a comedian, she was a trailblazer. At a time when women were expected to stay home, she was leading one of the biggest productions in television. Her character, Lucy Ricardo, was funny, ambitious, flawed, and deeply human, a far cry from the perfect housewives often seen on television in the 1950s. And her partnership with Desi Arnaz gave American audiences something they'd never seen before, a multicultural marriage portrayed with love and humor. Even their on-screen pregnancy in 1952 broke new ground, the first time a pregnant woman had ever been shown on television. CBS even coordinated Lucy's fictional due date with her real-life birth, and the episode drew over 44 million viewers, more than the inauguration of President Eisenhower that same week. But while I Love Lucy ended in 1957, its influence was only beginning. The legacy that built modern television. More than 70 years later, I Love Lucy remains the blueprint for modern sitcoms. Shows like Friends, The Big Bang Theory, and Seinfeld all trace their DNA back to Lucy's innovations, from live audience laughter to multi-camera filming. Desilu's production methods became industry standard, and its business model shaped everything from syndication to streaming. And Lucille Ball herself paved the way for women in entertainment, proving that comedy, business, and leadership weren't just for men. Even today, her fingerprints are everywhere, in every sitcom, every rerun, and every actor who learned timing from her genius. Because Lucille Ball didn't just make people laugh, she built the foundation of modern television. Thanks for watching! What's your favorite I Love Lucy episode? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and subscribe for more deep dives into media and entertainment history. See you in the next video!